Hey gang, it's Mike with Intrinsic Flow. What would you say if I told you that there's a skill that you could work on that was easy to practice, that you could practice anywhere, that would vastly improve your confidence climbing trail and descending? Okay, I'm not talking about stoppies. Stoppies are super fun, and I will have a video on those very soon, working on it. But what I'm talking about today is the MTB Trackstand.
Here's an example of a mountain bike track stand. The brakes are totally locked. The wheels cannot roll forward or back at all, and instead you are balancing the bike by turning the direction that you feel like you're going to fall. It's really that simple. And the beauty of this is that it's easy to learn, and since the brakes are locked, you can do it in some pretty precarious places. All right, so this is a view from the side, and this will just give you an idea of how to step onto the pedals and start to track stand. And it's just that easy. All right, so it's not going to be that easy immediately at the beginning. Of course, you're going to need to put some practice in this, but this does show you what you will be able to do with a bit of practice. All right. Also, it's a good example of just the body position and how you're going to balance on the bike. All right, body position. So you are going to be standing up, and you're going to be doing three things. So you're going to have the brakes locked, so you're not going to be rolling forward and backwards like you would in a regular track stand, like a velodrome track stand. And you're going to have your weight on the bars. You can see my shoulders are over the bars, so I definitely have pressure in my hands. I'm weighting the bars in the front wheel. And then last, the bars are turned to 30 degrees. That 30-degree mark, by the way, is your home base. That's where you start from. And you've got a home base on the left-hand side and on the right. Here I'm on the left, and from either one, whichever you prefer, you're going to balance from this position. And you're going to do that by turning the bars in the direction that you feel like you're going to fall. So if you feel like you're going to fall to the left, you turn the bars more to the left. If you feel like you're going to fall to the right, you turn the bars to the right, approaching straight. And there you go. It's just that easy. All right. Now, in the beginning, you're probably going to flip-flop the bars, the way I said, like go between home position on the left and home on the right, but ultimately you want to be on one side, and you want to do the minimal amount of bar movement. And you can see how the bars are moving to balance myself, but not a whole lot. And that's ultimately what you want. All right, other things, it's super important that you keep your head, shoulders, and hips very still as you practice this. Sometimes people will try to balance themselves with other body parts, and this makes it harder. It does not make it easier. You want to solely use the bars. All right, so it's going to be difficult when you first start to just stand up on the pedals and start track standing without rolling forward, which is why I recommend rolling into it. And what I mean by that is just giving it a couple pedals and then slowing to a stop, setting up in your home base position, and start a track stand. Also, if you feel like you're going to fall, like you'll probably get a few turns into the bars and feel okay, and then you're going to fall and lose it, well, instead of putting a foot down, instead give it a pedal and recover your balance, and then set up in your home base position again and start balancing again. You can do this as many times as you like, and you don't ever have to get off the bike, and you don't have to fall over either. And the beauty of this is you can get in a lot of practice in a short amount of time. Also, you don't need a lot of room to do this, so here I'm doing it in a grassy area, but you could just as easily do it in a parking lot or on a trail or even in your living room. I've been known to do that once or twice.
Are you still struggling with this? If so, I've got a couple of tips that should make it a lot easier. The first is where you put your front wheel. All right, if you are practicing in a parking lot or a driveway, then this isn't so much of an issue. You can park your front wheel wherever you want to and try to track stand, and it should be totally fine. But if you're on an uneven surface, you've got little bumps, little undulations, then super important that you do not park your front wheel on a bump. Doing so will make it harder to balance, because as you turn the bars in your home base position, the front wheel will squiggle off of the bump, causing you to lose your balance. Instead, choose a flat spot, or better yet, a depression to park your front wheel in and begin track standing. Doing so will make it much, much easier. If you're in a depression or hole, then that hole will actually trap the front wheel, slow the steering, and make it easier to balance. All right, that's one, where you put your front wheel. Number two is where you look. So when you practice this, you want to practice and looking at a point 5 to 8 feet in front of you and lock your gaze there. Once you've done that, then practice looking into the distance. Locking your gaze to a fixed point will help you to be aware of where your body is and what you need to do to maintain your balance, making it a lot easier. And the great thing about this technique, you can do it here, or here. And it even works here. Okay, gang, that's it for me for the Mountain Bike Trackstand. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found it educational and fun. And I hope that you give it a fair shake and really put in the time to practice it and really get good at it. If you get to the point where you can get into the track stand without rolling forward and you can hold it pretty much indefinitely, you're ready to do some pretty amazing things with it. And that is it for me. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you out there on the trails. Thanks so much, and until next time, keep the rubber side down.